Welcome back, everyone. Last episode, we delved into the film National Treasure with Nicolas Cage. Again, another revisit from ourselves to go and have a look at this film that we've not seen for a long time. I think Tom liked it a little bit better than I did, didn't you?
I did.
We had some issues with it, but there you go. That's still on YouTube. You can have a look at that if you want to, and all other previous episodes, obviously, as well, if you want to catch up with us. And that flies us along to this one, which is the last one in our little theme, isn't it?
It is. We are rounding it out.
So X marks the plot. Episode 4 of that our little theme. We take another little diversion route we do into, as I mentioned before, or last episode, the year 1984 we do, and we're going to meet Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner. We are. The film I've chosen for you is Romancing the Stone.
First of all, guess who else is here? You're dead right, Solo. What? Secondly, she's got herself a partner who likes shooting holes and everything.
The minimum price for taking a stranded woman to a telephone was $400.
$375 in traveler's checks?
Not a deal.
That's just the beginning of what's going on down here.
There it is, Romancing the Stone. I'm going to apologise for the trailer. Unfortunately, back in the day, trailers weren't quite as what they were when what we see them now. So that gives you a little soundbite, or certainly a little instance of what this is all about. But Tom, tell us, what was it? What was it all about?
What was it about?
It's a very elongated on the beginning of that.
It took me some time to figure out the plot for this.
Oh no!
So this was an interesting one because this is the first film that we've selected that I've actually not seen before. So this was a completely new experience for me, and I was excited.
So you're going in completely cold.
Yeah. From what I've gathered, and it took some digging, the film is basically about this woman Joan, who's a romance novelist. And for some unknown reason, her sister's husband has gotten with some bad guys in Colombia, and they've killed him and taken her sister, and they want a map, which she has, this treasure map, which leads to some treasure.
Yeah.
We don't really explore it that much. All I've noticed is that the map was clearly drawn by an 8-year-old. It's abysmal. It's literally the old-fashioned thing you do. You've got a piece of paper with a map on it, drawn with some little pictures, which I hated. And so she decides to set off to go and rescue her sister with the help of a mysterious man who will help her, or will he? Because he might have his own agenda. And there's some bad guys, and there's a lot of crocodiles. There's a lot of filming of crocodiles in it. Hint, hint. I guess, I don't know. They seem to like we've got some footage of crocodiles and gone, oh yeah, we've got some actual crocodiles in this. There's more crocodiles. Would you like some more crocodiles? So yes, all of them. All of the crocodiles. Put them in this film.
A lot of crocs. Yeah.
And some stuff happens. Yeah, there's some treasure.
Great.
In there somewhere. I don't know. Really. It feels like there was multiple plots.
I sense from your tone, you might not be quite on board with this somehow or another.
I mean, that would be a polite way of putting.
Wow.
But I'll save that to the end.
Yeah. Well, we're going to go through it, whether you like it or not. You're going to be made to get through this.
I did do some research into this film to try and find out some useful and interesting things.
What facts you got for us? Yeah.
So I found out. So a lot of this film is set in Colombia. However, it was primarily shot in Mexico due to some ongoing concerns over kidnappings of Americans in Colombia at the time it was made.
That makes sense.
I'm sure there's probably some history to that, which I didn't look at. I also found out a little bit, this is more towards the screenwriter. Diane Thomas was the one who produced the screenplay. And interestingly, she was a waitress just before selling the script for $250,000.
Wow.
I mean, I can sort of imagine how being a waiter or waitress is a tough job anyway. It's not very well paid. You're dealing with the public, and the public are
doing
often
a minimum
horrible.
wage job.
So what a break that must have been for her.
That is phenomenal.
That is well done. I mean, to get your screenplay seen and get it solved, fair play.
That's the dream, isn't it? Yeah.
That is literally the dream, and it's almost like the cliche, isn't it? You hear a lot of actors and that working it as waiters, waitresses in these low-paid jobs and getting their break.
And what's amazing is that she actually got the film made. So many people out there. I know another classic, a friend of a friend who knows someone, and he wrote a film script, and it got bought for just under £1 million, right? but never has, to this day, I mean, that was 20 years ago, nearly 15 to 20 years ago, and has never been made since.
Wow.
It is literally sitting somewhere, copyrighted, and I mean, he has no control over it anymore. He
They got the money.
sold his soul, and that was it, and got rid of it. And you would, wouldn't you? You know, you
Yeah,
just would.
absolutely.
So she did really well, didn't she?
Yeah, no, I mean, fair play to her. But sadly, this was actually her only produced screenplay because she actually died
no.
in a car crash in 1985.
Oh man,
I mean, the potential must have been. There was obviously some potential there.
yeah.
I'm not gonna poo-poo my way through this whole thing.
You're not.
No, I promise you, I'm not most of the way.
Right.
But there was obviously potential because Steven Spielberg and George Lucas were looking at her to do the screenplay for the third Indiana Jones film.
Wow.
And initially it was set off in this haunted house,
Yes,
which
I've
was,
heard
I
that.
think George Lucas was sort of the idea behind it, but they decided to go a different route.
Mm.
And obviously, sadly, she passed away. I think she's only 39, so that's desperately sad.
Oh.
And then a lot of people also criticise and say, "Oh, this film is just a rip-off of Indiana Jones: Raiders of the Lost Ark," which was released in 1981. But the original screenplay for *Romancing the Stone* was actually written in 1979.
Wow. So before then,
Before
we
So
had
it
the man in the hat.
It wasn't a rip-off at
Yeah.
all. So that's what I found out through my
Yeah.
research.
So the reason I chose this film is it fits within our theme. Obviously, X marks the plot, but also on top of that as well is that we mention over and over again to its death that we pick these things from years ago. Now, I have a little bit of a history with this film. That this film was on TV. That's the only time when I would have seen it. I never went to cinema. I was too young. I was about 7 years old when it came out. But I would have probably picked it up probably in about 1988, round about then, when a lot of these films from the early 80s were coming onto TV. They were coming onto normal television. It wouldn't be unusual to see that on a Saturday night, a big premiere film that would be on BBC One or ITV or something. And so that's where I got this film from. And what would happen is you would watch this film as a kid, and then you would go into the playground the next day at school, and you would all talk about what you'd seen, because it was the first time you'd ever seen it. You never went to the cinema. You never, no such thing as streaming sites or anything. I mean, and it certainly didn't come out on video rental until like a year later, sort of thing. And that's if you were lucky and you can afford to rent it out as such as well, or even owned a video recorder, never mind anything else. But just to give our listeners and ourselves, and you, Tom, really, a little what the landscape was like in 1984.
Obviously, this was like 12 years pre-me. No idea.
No idea. So, there were some big hitters that were coming out at this time. Not only *Romancing the Stone* was coming out, but we had a lot of big franchises and a lot of beginning of films from that point. So this, again, you mentioned it's related to Indiana Jones. It has comparisons. Well, at the same year, we got Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, the exact same year as *Romancing the Stone*. And we also got as well, and here it goes, we got The Karate Kid.
Oh.
We got Beverly Hills Cop. We got Ghostbusters, Gremlins, Footloose, Star Trek 3, The Terminator, Amadeus, A Nightmare on Elm Street, This Is Spinal Tap, Supergirl, and Muppets in Manhattan. I got that. I added that little bit one in the end just for you.
Thank you. You do know I like the Muppets. That is a serious set of films to come out in a year.
What a time to be alive! I mean,
that is incredible.
Can you imagine that? Literally, nearly every week, that was the kind of choice. There would have been one or two of those films to choose from to go and watch.
That's insane.
I mean, at the time, you wouldn't have known what they were like or whether they were any good or not.
In a year, you don't get that sort. I mean, that's unheard of. You might get one or two big films a year.
There's some big hitters there, isn't there?
That's it. That is
and
phenomenal.
a big spread as well for like things like This Is Spinal Tap, which was a comedy of its first, weren't it? Like a thing there, to Amadeus, which was a big period piece, which won Oscars, didn't it, and stuff. To silly Gremlins, to musical Footloose, to
sci-fi Terminator,
sci-fi, to
kid-friendly Muppets, and
and we would, we're still reaping off the back of kind of this, like, a child does something really clever and has a master routine, like The Karate Kid, isn't it? That type of films were very much.
The range of genres there is
it's amazing, isn't it?
That is, what a year that must have been for a film buff or a film
lucky enough to
fan.
live through it. Yes, I will say. Do you know what? Let's go into this, shall we? Shall we jump into this? Let's get. I can see you poised.
If we must.
We must.
We must.
So yeah, we open to what is believed to be some kind of Wild West story, aren't we? With a female antagonist, isn't it? Who?
Yeah,
and I've got here very sweaty for some reason.
Yes. So this
Extremely sweaty.
Immediately, I was angry at this. So
It's
I know in the desert, but I mean, she's drenched and she's wearing a white top. So immediately, I was going, great. So now we're immediately over sexualizing people for no obvious reason.
Yeah.
And then we've got this random bad guy.
Yeah, just random. I've got man thug. Who,
Man thug.
He rocks up, doesn't he? There's a little bit of a you owe some money and something, and she's saying you killed some of my relatives or something. God, we're not even 10 minutes, are we? I think we're literally 4 if we're lucky, and already we're being. Yeah, she's being subjected to harassment. I'm going to say, right?
No,
we're not going to go into it, but and then she throws a knife, doesn't she, into his chest for a brutal killing. You know,
Yeah.
And
I mean,
he's,
fair play to her. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, damn right, he deserved it. And then we get a little, montage, still with a narration, don't we?
There's a
of
bit of
that.
narration over the
And I think when I watched this when I was younger, I thought this was the film. To be honest with you,
I watched it for the first time before this podcast, and I thought this was the film.
Great, I love it.
And then, but then I was immediately annoyed because then you got she rides out after killing him, and it turns out the guy she just killed has got brothers, but then she's saved by this hero on the horse.
There's a mysterious man, isn't there? Yeah.
And then you see all the brothers, they're firing their pistols at him, and nothing's happening, and he fires 3 shots and kills all 3 of them, and I just went, oh, it's going to be one of those films. Where nobody can aim.
However,
I was wrong.
yeah, you're wrong because when we realise that the narrator is Kathleen Turner, isn't it? Who is going to be our main female character lead, isn't she? As Joan Wilder, she ends up. We cut to an apartment block here or apartment building, don't we? In New York, she is tapping away on the typewriter, not on the computer, but on the typewriter. That's how old this film is.
I did like that. I will.
Yeah.
I do like the old typewriter.
And we realise that she's it's a book.
The opening scene was like a visualization of what she's writing.
And she's and she's sat there and she's getting quite tearful about it all, isn't she? And she's wearing what can only be described the largest set of headphones I've seen in my life. And that took me back a little bit because I remember my dad had those exact same headphones, right? They were so heavy. We've come a long way, haven't we, in technology?
I mean, yeah, now I listen to stuff through like little earbuds, which is just,
She looks like she's bringing in an aircraft, doesn't she? They're like air defenders, aren't they?
They were impressive bits of kit there.
How times have changed. Yeah, we realised we have like a little. She's walking around the flat. We're getting an idea of who she is. She's a prize-winning author, isn't she?
Yeah, she's obviously very successful. Her name's Joan Wilder, and she's got posters of her books all around her apartment. And we get multiple hints that she's won awards, prizes. So she's obviously good. We're establishing her quite nicely. However, what we are also learning is that she apparently has very limited ability to look after herself because she opens her fridge and there is an egg. Just an egg. Literally, and she has like little sample bottles of alcohol.
Yeah, they look like they're basically the things you would get in a hotel room, wouldn't you? In what you call the bar, aren't they? Or on the plane, and it's like she's been collecting them.
Yeah,
and we will come to this. The amount of drinking that is going on in this film is phenomenal. Everyone's basically shit-faced. Aren't they? They are, aren't they? They're all drunk, aren't they? Nearly all the way through this film. I'm sorry, I've got to say it.
I mean, I think I need to get through this film, so... But also, I don't understand this bit. So, not only has she got no food, she's then got... We also learn that she's obviously, not very capable of looking after herself because she's got no tissues and has to use the note she wrote to remind herself to get tissues to blow her nose. And then, for reasons I still have no idea of, she decides to throw her plate into the fire. Why?
I sat there and thought, you blow your nose on the piece of paper, you got no toilet roll or something like that? No,
which again is perhaps even more alarming.
We're going to use the paper of your book to wipe your backside on? I mean, what?
So then they I then had no idea what was going on. We've got this person.
It is. I forgot about this scene. So obviously, like I said before, I haven't revisited this film for probably over 25 years. Probably much plus. I couldn't remember this scene. I didn't remember it, so I felt like I was watching this for the first time. And I went, "What the hell is this?" I mean, we've got an 80s setting, haven't we? I mean, it couldn't get any more 80s than that.
Very,
That
very
saxophone's
well.
going ballistic in it on it.
Do I
And-
hate a saxophone?
And we get this whole scene, and it goes on for quite a while, and we feed a cat, and I get it, we're trying to establish who she is. I assume she's quite lonely and doesn't really do a lot or something. But yeah, bear in mind that I kept listening to the soundtrack, and I was thinking, Jesus Christ, this is the conductor and composer who in a year's time is going to do Back to the Future. I mean, what's he playing at? In this. It's so obscure.
It's like a different world. And then the next bit. Oh my god. I don't think I've ever sworn so much in my life. A random salesman with a little puppet monkey trying to sell it to her.
Yeah.
And then one of the lines he uses is, "Get it for your boyfriend. It's kinky." What? What is that? How's that a sales pitch? It's a puppet monkey. What? I don't understand. I basically had an aneurysm watching.
For the
this.
listeners out there, I've never seen Tom so animated in my life.
I don't understand
There are
this
literally
line.
arms waving around here. There are in front of me. So she's obviously an author, and she has a book, doesn't she? She's got a
Yes.
big load of paper there, like of her new book that she's going to go and see her publisher, isn't she?
Yeah, but
And I
while
think-
she's off doing
yeah.
that, she's seeing her publisher, and in the meantime,
Mm.
some random creepy man with a moustache.
Oh yeah, we don't know what is his name. Did we ever find out?
So in my notes flitter between Zorro and Zollo. I don't know what his name is.
I've just put him as Mystery Man.
Mystery Man is
Yeah.
who he shall be. Just he's doing something outside her flat. The maintenance man
Yeah.
comes out and he a really lame on-screen death because
And kills him.
it just kills him.
Right, that's it.
Don't know why.
And we never see him again. Like we don't know any consequences of that. Like there's no body. No one said, "Oh, there's been a murder in this flat" or
No.
something like that. Or in this.
Nobody cares.
No one said, "Have you seen John for a while?"
He said he was
I
gonna
mean,
come fix
he
my
said he was going to mop the
conditioning.
floor up here, but you know,
I've not seen him for ages.
yeah. Anyone questioning where he's gone?
Nobody cares about poor maintenance guy.
Yeah.
And so already I'm losing my mind a little bit watching this film. And then we go meet the publisher and we learn a little bit more about Joan and the fact that she's all alone, doesn't have any romance in her life. And we're just talking about this random lineup of men who seem to be sat in the restaurant being identified and judged on their appearance.
They're the most awful men I've ever seen. It's just what the God's name awful hair that they had.
It was like the content of the scene normally would set things up. Maybe it's the businessmen having lunch, but why are they all sat next to each other with nobody facing opposite? And then there's just that one guy smiling off into the distance. Sorry, mate, just sit there and smile weirdly.
They're giving off some very weird,
And then they go,
weird vibes, aren't
That
they?
one's too smiley. It's like, of course he is. He looks like someone's just stuck something up his arse, and he's just frozen and doesn't know what to do. He's terrified. This is just, I didn't understand this.
So yeah, I mean, it was a different time, and
then
wow,
a light bit of conversation. Oh yeah, my sister's husband's been killed and been chopped up into little pieces. Oh, so we're just going to drop that in there as well?
oh
are
yeah,
we?
so the sister,
Exactly.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
not even primary. We're going to talk about with these creepy men. Oh, how's your sister getting on with her husband that's been chopped up? Okay,
Yeah,
What?
Who's clearly into something way above her head. Yeah, yeah.
Surely that would be the first bit of conversation. How's your sister doing?
But obviously, it gets to that, doesn't it? That
Oh, yeah, we get onto
we
that.
understand that when Joan,
I'll try and calm down a little bit.
I know. I'll take over. I'll let you. No, you take an aspirin or something. Calm down a bit.
My rage.
Obviously, Joan returns back to her flat, doesn't she? And it's been turned over. The place is a mess.
There has been a burglary.
Yeah, and they've obviously been looking for something. However, though, she was obviously given a letter earlier on, and in that
Yes.
letter is a map. A map, like a classic, as you put it, child's written map, right? And until you pointed it out, yes, it does look pretty shocking, doesn't it?
They're trying to make it look old by tearing a flap in it.
Yeah, we've got a couple of cuts out of it, don't we? And someone spilled some tea on it, haven't they? So that's what makes an old map look old. Yeah, but we are essentially we've got the setup we've got so far is that Joan needs to go and bring the map. So we're not really quite sure of Mystery Man where he fits into all this at this very moment
No,
in
it's all
time.
a little bit confusing.
Yes, it definitely is, and which we'll come to later. So Joan, she takes on the mantle and says, "Right, I'm going to go." She goes to Colombia, doesn't she?
She
And
does,
goes
yes.
there, and we arrive at the airport, don't we? And I've got written down on here, a little bit like Pirates of the Caribbean Tortuga, because there are people fighting in the streets, isn't there? Some guy's getting his head kicked in, isn't there, around the corner? There's chickens and pets flapping around, and the place is a mess, isn't it? It's chaotic, and
I've never been to Colombia.
I
I suspect
where the hell are
it's
they? Yeah,
like that. I feel like they've taken on a stereotype.
Oh, very, yeah.
And they are running with it. Because I somewhat doubt if you get off the airport in Colombia, everyone's in a fist fight.
But yeah, I mean, it is an absolute crazy. So she gets on a bus.
The wrong bus.
But it's a wrong bus. She's sort of slightly tricked by Mystery Man, who randomly turns up again.
Mystery Moustache Man is here again.
1 minute he was in New York. Now he's here in Colombia.
To tell her she wants the bus to Cartagena.
That's right.
But they're going not there.
No,
somewhere else.
He tells a little lie, tells her that this is the bus for it. She gets on it, and he gets on as well with her as well, doesn't he? So,
he does.
And then...
So there's a shot here that, again, made me angry. The scenery is beautiful. We get a little shot of scenery, and it's fantastic. And it's got this insane, funky music in it. But the bus is then meant to be shown travelling through it. But the bus is in the background, travelling at a rate I can only describe as slower than erosion. And it's like, what are they? Just get on with the shot. But he's it's like...
I got written on it. I got written down on it. A bus slowly moving through the hills. Brackets very slow.
It's so incredibly slow.
I thought that was only me who noticed it.
It was me, because I was like, is this stop motion animation? It was the scenery, beautiful, absolutely stunning, really liked it. And the music seemed out of place then. And then this slow moving bus, very far off on the right hand side of it. I don't really understand.
I thought it was a model. It looked like almost, I looked at it and I think, is that like real?
Are we looking at a painting?
Are we looking at a remote control bus like making its way across like a small hill in the back of someone's garden or something, you know, and they've tied it up to make it look like that?
Yeah, it's very, very weird.
How very odd.
And then Joan distracts the bus driver, who crashes into a Jeep that's just parked
in the middle, middle of the road.
And then, for reasons unknown, everyone goes, "Oh, the bus has crashed. Let's go."
So
and
they all
just
leave.
Walk off.
They all leave, didn't they? Which I kind of get that. I imagine if you're in the middle of nowhere, that's kind of just how it is.
But it wasn't. How can I put this? A heavy impact. I feel like they could have pushed the car off and gone, right, let's carry on, shall we?
But they made the executive decision, didn't they, that the bus was naffed and bus driver went, everybody left, and Joan is left on her own, isn't she? And Mystery Man turns up. Yeah, Mystery Moustache Man. He turns up and he goes, "It's all right, don't worry, there'll be another bus along." Her naivety and how she is, she just sits on a suitcase, doesn't she? And she says, "Well, I'll wait here until the next bus." He does this weird thing. It's almost like Mystery Man walks away, walks around, and we get an awkward... Well, it felt like a long time, but it wasn't. It was like 30 seconds. And it's like he goes, "Oh, yeah, I've got to do this, haven't I?"
It's like, he's trying to
like he remembered
himself up.
Like he remembered why he was there. And then he pulls a gun on it, doesn't he? And he wants the map. So now we know, right, here's our third party who's invested in this map or something. However, though, we're going to have another mystery man, aren't we, in the shadows, who's going to rock up, whistling his way along the top, who I didn't realise until watching this again, that truck belongs to him, doesn't it?
We learn later on it belongs to him.
And so we progress with what is a shootout, don't we, then?
Michael Douglas plays this new mystery man.
Yes.
Who we later learn is called Jack. I'll just make this easier so as we don't get through between mystery men. He's using a shotgun, which seems to have a magazine that includes about 10, 15 rounds.
I think he loads about 2 shells in there. But
he loads 2 shells and then fires about 7 shots.
I know, there's a lot of shots going on, isn't there? And Joan then decides that an alliance needs to be with our new friend Jack, played by Michael Douglas, and she needs him to get her out of it, really, and get her back to where she needs to get to, which is quite far away.
It's that sort of cliche of her being out of her world. She's there in some sort of suit and her heels and carrying her suitcase around, and he's the outdoorsy man with his, Indiana Jones hat and his sleeveless vest.
Then we jump to Mystery Moustache Man again, isn't it? He's trying to get back. He commandeers Danny DeVito's vehicle, innit? Because Danny DeVito has been trying to drive down there, hasn't he?
Oh, yes,
and they're in this, and it gets quite a lot of screen time. This yellow Renault 4 it is. But I tell you what, if they were trying to push him, it was a cracking advert for it, right? Because this car, 1, was indestructible, and 2, Danny DeVito does a 3-point turn in what is a mudslide, right? and managed it with very little difficulty. And I was thinking, well, yeah, I'll buy one. I mean,
I'll have one now, yeah.
I mean, that was working like a 4x4, wasn't it?
Oh, it was going off road properly, and it is.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, wow. I was like, Jesus, he did well to get that out of the mud.
He did.
Yeah. We've got proper Colombian rain, haven't we, in the rainforest and everything. And they then end up like sliding, don't they? Which we have this like kind
Fall
of
down this
scene,
little mudslide.
a mudslide, don't we? Which looks quite real. Like they do this, and
Like
now
a fun little ride.
amongst all of this, as you're probably going to poo-poo it all the way through. I'm not. I'm trying to salvage some of it.
Well, I said I wouldn't poo-poo the whole thing.
No. So on the plus side, no CGI, real stunts, and I believe they did it for real. Yeah, they're proper covered in mud, and I look at it and I go, it might be a studio. It might be like they've done it up like a swamp. I don't think they would have gone into the Amazon and done it because there's too many bad things that want to either eat you or attack you. But it's filthy, isn't it? And it's proper like grime, and they would have got proper stuck into it, didn't they? But but obviously Jack's character, he's a very odd character, isn't he? I can't put my finger on him. I don't
so
really
much
know
of
what...
this, I think, because obviously Michael Douglas directed it. No, did direct it. He produced this, and I feel like so much of this was him trying to sell himself as this character who could be actiony and comedic.
We've seen this before in other things. Yeah.
But it doesn't really... So I got annoyed when they reached the bottom of that slide. So they crash into the pond, and he crashes face first into her crotch. And I think I just groaned at that point because I went, oh, I see exactly where this is going.
He starts to be a little bit pervy, isn't he? Yeah.
A little bit pervy. It's just creepy. And it's like, oh man, the producer has said, I'm sorry, I must crash into your crotch.
Cast your mind back to a period of time, that probably would have raised a big load of laughter. It would have been funny because it would have been, look at this, isn't this really funny? In the weird, awkward position that they've kind of ended up in. They eventually come round, didn't they, after their little trek through the jungle to what is an abandoned plane or a crashed plane, isn't it? That's there.
Yes.
And we have the most weirdest. Almost like if someone asked me and said, "Oh, we need a dead pilot," how would you do it, right? And ask them, and this is no disrespect to 8-year-olds or youngsters, right? But if I said, "Draw me a plane where the pilot's dead," this is literally how you would do it. You would go, "Oh, I'm going to do the pilot hanging out the window, still with his aviator shades on and his hat."
I mean, to be fair, that cliche still goes on today with the pilot sort of hanging out the window, and I kind of like it. But they've done the wrong window.
Yeah.
Because he's hanging out the side of the plane.
Yes.
Physics would determine that probably wouldn't have happened.
No. Did he try to climb out and then give up halfway through or something, maybe?
Just died halfway through the climb out.
Maybe he got stuck. Maybe he went, I can't get out of the back, so I'm just going to get out of the front window. You know what it's like when you get through something, you go, I've clearly underestimated this.
maybe before he
just
died...
shouting help for the next 8 hours.
Before he died, he was actually quite a chunky man and got wedged in there.
Maybe.
But because there was nothing that indicated he was trapped. So I'm assuming he must have died on the crash. But if he died on the crash, surely he'd been thrown out the front window. Not anyway.
Meanwhile, obviously our moustache man, isn't it? He commandeered the vehicle with Danny DeVito in, and Danny DeVito's quite worried, isn't he? Because he's actually wanted by the cops, isn't he?
Yes.
So that's not a bad little thing where they literally have taken him back to the police station, haven't they? While our moustache man, who's now revealed as some kind of sort of, I would say, army/cop, isn't he? Some
sort of agent thing. He's got a badge.
Yeah, he's some government official who can arrest people and do stuff. All I know from this at the moment is that he wants the map, doesn't he?
Yes.
Or something. I don't know who's instructing him. I thought he was on the same side as what Danny DeVito and all them, but then it transpires that when Danny DeVito is in the station, he's on the phone, isn't he, to his boss and saying, like, you got to get me out of here. I'm there. And he looks up and there's a wanted poster of him. And I quite like the idea that, Danny DeVito's a little tiny man, isn't he? And I quite like the idea that he reaches over and he just goes straight over and he falls over into the thing. He's quite a good actor like that. I like that.
They turn up in this village full of drug runners?
Yeah,
essentially.
I think that's the theme, isn't it?
They're very angry. They're all there with their guns and sharpening knives and that sort of thing. again, hitting the cliches of showing this isn't a very safe place.
Mm.
And they're looking for a car. They still want to get to Cartagena. And they get directed to Juan,
Yeah.
who's meant to be the only man with a car.
in this village, though, my add, is that it doesn't look like they've got much, is it? It's a very poor village.
Yes.
And I looked, you can see in the background, certainly while we were watching this film, we look and that's it. And there is the most forced product placement I've ever seen.
Oh, the Pepsi sign.
That's the one.
I saw that as well. I was like, sorry, what?
There's a corporate branded sign that is on the side of a shack, isn't it? Like that we sell Pepsi Cola here, right? And you just go, how did that get here? I don't even know how to begin. It didn't even look like a shop, did it? It looked like someone's house, like an old. Imagine if you would your garden shed, and you just put like, I don't know, a sign on it that it's sold it here, and I just went, wow, that is absolute product placement to get it where you need to get it.
It worked because
I saw it. We're talking to it, aren't we? I mean, it's still working even now in 2025. And I was just thinking, yeah, who's delivering that to there, or who's getting it? I don't know how that worked. But so yeah, you mentioned we meet a guy, don't we? Or we go to. They know a guy who's got a car, don't they? And we go to this what looks to be a rundown chateau, doesn't it, or something like that, doesn't it? When they go to the door, he points a gun at them, tells them to go away, but then she tells him who she is. She's
and he recognises her because he reads her books.
And that's the kind of, what are the chances of this? That a big drug lord or something like that that's there loves the romantic novels, doesn't he? What a chance of luck. And they have a little confab, and then they go in, don't they? And Jack and Joan have managed to commandeer the truck, hasn't it?
Yeah,
and our
Juan's
man
driving them around.
He's driving them around.
Whilst giving them a tour.
I kind of like the idea of that. I think that's quite cool.
It was quite funny that they're being chased around, shot at by machine guns, and he's just going, oh, and you see that tree over there? My mother planted that tree.
Yeah, that's where my auntie lives, isn't it? Yeah, and I was born in that house, isn't it? Yeah. At the meantime, while being chased down and being shot at, isn't it? He seems a bit unfazed by it all, doesn't he? It's a regular
normal
day for him being chased by the Colombian police, isn't it? Yeah.
And again, you can tell it's sort of real because when there's a couple of jumps they do in these jeeps, and there's some guys. So for those who've not seen the film, the military jeeps, there's a guy driving, there's a guy in the passenger seat, and there's a guy at the back with a big machine gun that's on the roof. And they do two of these military jeeps do this jump. And when they do, they've obviously gone out and done it, but I don't know how well they told the men on the back they were doing it, because when they do the jumps, one of the men seems to disappear completely.
Flies off, doesn't
I'm guessing he's just been launched into next week. And the other one, I think, is injured because he sort of bounces down and then sort of crumples onto the floor. So I think they actually might have genuinely potentially hurt people there.
And that's the fact. If we could home into something, I mean, we've homed into quite a lot, but we could home into something. I'll just put stunt work. Lots of it.
I think they won an award for it.
Did they? Wow.
I mean, in fairness,
I wouldn't blame them because
my knowledge of that may have come from Wikipedia, which I admit is not a reliable source, but they seem to have won quite a lot of awards for this.
There is, like you said about the car chases, that you see the Jeep goes over the river, doesn't it? And it hits the floor, doesn't it? Hard. And you go, cool, that was timed. That's quite incredible. And then we're treated to, we really go off the track, don't we? And we're given, I assume they wanted to do some character, or something with them anyway, because they have a little dance, don't they?
I won't say it's a little dance. It went on way too long.
It went on this celebration, and it's going on and on and on. And I remember being a child watching this scene and fast forwarding it, so I remember. So not only was I goddamn bored now, right? I was bored when I was a 7-year-old. I was like, oh, this is rubbish, this is, right? And I'd walk, we'd have to walk over, down remote control, you had to walk up to the video recorder, what about that, right? And I'd just press fast forward like that, and you'd watch it, skip through and go past it all and everything. Yeah, get past that. And I thought, you know what, I'll keep going, and then you go past that, get past this, and then I'll press play. So when I watched this time around, it's probably the first time I've ever watched it, because before I just skipped past it, because it was just boring. I know we've got. I know you don't want to talk about it, but we've got a moment in bed. Oh yeah,
God,
yeah. And I'd say that Michael Douglas is in the most weirdest position on top of like Kathleen Turner. It's the most weird. It's just so weird how it's almost like nobody sits like that and has a conversation in bed. I don't care who you are.
For those who
get comfortable.
Yeah,
that's what you do.
in other films, if they're having a conversation when in bed, they're laying next to each other. Maybe they're doing a little bit of cuddling.
Yeah.
Maybe they're separated, whatever.
Or
But
whatever.
he's directly on top of her. It's like he's been doing the act and has then gone, hold on a second, we should have a conversation about
It's
leverage.
shocking, isn't it?
It's unnecessary beyond belief. And
Yeah.
oh,
And I assume the only thing it serves the purpose as is that as the camera pans down, it's someone's hand, isn't it? He takes the map from out underneath the thing and puts it back into the
yeah.
bag.
Well, because he's been trying to find a photocopier, hasn't he?
yeah.
And he puts it back in the bag, and it's like all well and good, but I feel like he could have just rolled over and done that. So they escape. They steal Danny DeVito's car. It's still being stolen.
He's sleeping in his
He's
car,
sleeping
isn't
in
he?
it, but he doesn't make his presence known. He just remains hiding in it.
Mm.
And then they go past a shrine which is on the map, and then out of nowhere, a random soldier man rides up on his horse out of the ditch and goes,
Yeah.
"Oh, they've just gone past the shrine. How long has he been sat there?"
yeah, he does. He just comes out and he's got. Because I sort of thought that. I thought, well, hold on a minute. For them to know where they're going, so that makes it sound like the guy on the horseback who's now radioed in to say where they are is that they have current knowledge of these things and these places where they kind of almost know where they're going. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense, does it? Joan and Jack then go into this cave. There's not really too much to stop them from getting anywhere, is there? There's not really a kind of, oh, we need to solve a riddle, solve a clue. In this, they just, I mean, unless I missed it, they went in the cave.
No, they just
And
went in the
then
cave.
Michael Douglas started digging frantically in the middle of a cave.
So this bit I didn't like either. So basically, the clue is Mama's milk.
Right.
And basically what it is, I just had to do some research so I can factually get it right.
Nice.
Basically, there's a stalactite,
Stalactite, yeah.
however you pronounce it. But that's what it is. That it's dripping down from the ceiling and it's dripping this white deposit into
yes,
a puddle
there
that is
is,
white.
isn't there?
And
right.
that is Mama's milk. Which I
Right. So
think
he
only
knows
serves-
that's where it is, right?
which
That
only,
makes
I
sense
think,
now, yeah.
serves to make it even more creepy. It's freaky and weird. I don't like it.
Fountain of Destiny, whatever you want to call it, yeah.
Fountain of Destiny.
I don't know, I made that
Is
up.
that one of the Pirate Caribbean films?
I don't know, probably.
But they dig
Better
inside.
than this!
Most things are. They dig inside this puddle and they find a bunny statue.
But then when we pulled the bunny rabbit out,
It's like, oh, this has been in there for a couple of weeks, maybe.
yeah, it's a bit of old tat in it that they've bought off. Like, you know,
Went to the local car boot sale and bought a rabbit.
I've got
statue.
got this rabbit and we'll just like, you know,
It's like that sort of thing when you go into
rabbit
like
money
a,
box or something,
yeah,
isn't it?
when you go over like a grandparent's house and there's this really creepy statue and you just go, oh god, what have you still
Who
got
bought
thing?
that? Who bought that? Yeah.
And inside is a very cheap-looking, cheaply cut emerald that sort of, I looked at it and went, it looks like a solidified piece of apple jelly. That is the stone,
That's the stone.
a very cheap stone.
Romanticising about it now. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, obviously, we forgot about Danny DeVito, who's been hiding out in the car. He then comes into the cave and pulls a weapon, then he pulls a gun on him and says, right, hand over the jewel. So he's going to take it off him. And he puts out what would be in the 2025, a bag for life. I don't know if you've seen
Pretty
it.
much, yeah.
He had the most giant bag ever for the most smallest. I mean, he could just go, just put it in my hand.
Yeah.
Just give it to me. Or put it in my pocket. Because it will go in my pocket, it will.
Throw it over
But
a
he's got like this massive bag, like huge, and go put it in there.
bag of swag.
A bag of swag, yeah.
With no swag.
So there's a piece of stunt work that's in this, which I had to rewind and then watch back again. Because you see the car coming towards the camera,
Yes.
and Joan, she's driving now, she
Mhm.
is. So Jack's managed to get the stone. He's got it, but he's got to try and run and get in the car while it's still moving. That actually is Michael Douglas. Because I was watching it.
Ah.
However, the driver isn't. It's a stunt driver. I looked carefully, right, and it's not Kathleen Turner. It's a woman, or maybe a man in a wig. I don't know, but that's clearly not her in the driver's seat. She's driving, but you see Michael Douglas running towards the open door. He jumps on the door and then manages to get in the car, all while this is moving. You think, well, that's pretty good. That's really clever. there's a look on Michael Douglas's face of like pure happiness that is almost like, I can't believe I've just done it. He can't hide his absolute satisfaction of maybe doing this. And I would probably be the same.
I'd be pretty happy if I pulled that off.
You know, I mean, it looks quite dangerous, you know, and quite, you know, they would just nowadays, they would never allow their main star to do that.
Gosh, no.
I mean, God, if he broke his leg, that's it. We've lost him for the entire film. We end up going over the waterfall, which is another big stunt, isn't it? Which is done for real. Real car over a thing and 2 people jumping out of it. I mean, good Lord, that's dangerous.
I
That's
can
a
see
real
why
waterfall.
they won an award for the stunt work on this one, because credit where credit is due. The stunt work on this is pretty impressive in times.
That's done for real, isn't it? You know, I mean, wow. They would have had to find a waterfall. Never mind about surveying what was underneath it. What a nice thing to have if you were that person. You know, look at that. That's me jumping out there.
Yeah,
I mean, wow.
that is a real stunt.
Old school stunt work. And they go to this like weird little fort, don't they?
Yeah.
That's sort of on the outskirts of town, isn't it? Joan sees her sister, and let's not hang around. Sister gets handed over, doesn't she? Map is given. Well, and then we get this kind of weird sort of standoff, don't we? And our ultimate bad guy, our moustache man, decides that, well, the only way to get what I want is to cut Joan's hand, isn't it? And hang it over the crocodiles, isn't it? Because they love a bit of blood. And I assume he's at some point going to feed it to her or something like that. But then the crocodile comes up, doesn't it? That's gruesome.
I mean,
They
yeah, because you
sever
see him,
his hand off.
you see him holding his arm, and you just see the blood pumping out. And even
You see the hand, don't you? And it's all the tendons are hanging out like bits of, you know, like a proper severed, no holds. I thought, surely they're not going to show it. Oh, they are. They're going to show you, like, literally him holding this arm out, and it's been severed, and all the veins are stringy, and blood's coming out of it. And I was thinking, good Lord, this is a PG-13. This is, you know, wow. You would never nowadays, would you?
no, that'd be a full-on 18 these
That would have
days.
been cut from TV, wouldn't it? That would have been, yeah, no way.
Jack then is chasing a crocodile, which apparently is the one that has eaten the emerald.
But yeah, it's
And
that's the
it
one,
tries
yeah.
to go into the sea, and he grabs it by the tail and holds it there.
A rubber crocodile.
Oh, God, man, I hated it so much. So I looked at it and went, no.
So Jack has to make a choice, doesn't he? He's holding on to the crocodile. Does he hold on to the crocodile and try and bring it in so he can get the jewel? But no, love prevails, doesn't it? And he's going to go, no.
And then he climbs up what I can only describe as a perfectly flat wall.
He makes a jump for it, doesn't he? And goes, I have a little story about this, right, that you're going to laugh, right?
Okay.
So, being a child of 7, 8 years old when this came out and watched it, right, you would reenact, wouldn't you? Your heroes, wouldn't you? I remember I had this big wall in my old house where my mum and dad lived. And it was like a really tall, about 8, 10 foot, like absolute plain wall. No, nothing, just brickwork. And I used to run up it and do exactly what he does in this film to see how far I could get up. 6 inches, if you're lucky. So watching him jump up on this wall, that's purely vertical, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's meant to be like
There's no
stone
little
and brick.
There's no little gaps or things. There's no ladder or anything sticking out, is there, to hold on to?
It's like they filed the stone down, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, he manages to get up there, doesn't he?
Yeah, in the meantime, the bad guy
well,
charges her and trips and falls into the pit of crocodiles because there's another.
Oh, but she sets him on fire first, didn't she?
He falls on fire.
I mean, he has a grisly death, doesn't he? Because
When
he's lost a hand.
He's now
being burnt alive, isn't he? Yeah.
And then he trips and falls into
And trips and falls into
another crocodile pit.
No.
There's so many crocodile pits in this film. It
Exactly.
angers me. And you just hear him being crunched in the background.
And so he's being eaten, slowly alive, and then we get. I mean, oh God, we return to New York. Don't
We're
we?
back in New York. She's written a book of her experiences.
We then realise that the publisher is crying, isn't she?
Yeah.
And she turns a page, doesn't she, as if this has all been a book. This has all been a story, hasn't it? Or, I mean, certainly that's how I looked at it. It's meant to prevail, isn't it? It's at the time, before we get the ending, is that we sit there and we go, oh, and she's absolutely fine, isn't she? She obviously left Columbia, or did it actually really happen? Or is it one of her romantic novels? In fact, let's just attack, right? Did the publisher sit there and read that while they were waiting in the office or something? Because she's sort of reading it, isn't she?
Well, as she's walking, as Joan is sort of hanging around the office.
Did she hang around in the office for like, what, 8 hours? I mean, I don't know how quick you can read a novel, but
Like 1 a month.
I mean, I read a lot. I read an incredible amount, and I've just read a sizable book, I will say, with very small print, and it has taken me 3 weeks to read. To really get a grip of it. So did Joan Wilde just hang around at the window while she read? I mean, that was sizable, weren't it?
Oh, it was.
Do you see it? I mean, how many?
was basically-
There's 500 pieces in like a ream of paper, isn't there?
Well, it's basically like if you opened a pack of paper
Yeah.
to put it in your printer and you put the whole pack in. That's basically the length of the book. As we then get Joan walking back to her apartment, and then there is a boat,
Yes.
a yacht in Manhattan. I thought acceptable because someone could be taking their boat out, just bought it or whatever, with the mast up and the sails
fully
set
up,
out.
isn't it?
It's
Yeah.
like, no. It just doesn't happen. You wouldn't drive around with your boat on a train with the mast up and the sails out.
And there's no traffic, is there? Which was
No, the roads are
clearly they have
obviously
shut the
closed.
road off, haven't they? Yeah.
There's like 2 cars which the extras are driving around,
Yeah.
and everything else is parked. And
No one around, is there?
Nobody's
Yeah.
there.
And it's like, clearly you shut the street off for this, didn't you? Yeah.
and he's got these crocodile skin cowboy boots because he's somehow killed it, taken the emerald out of his stomach. And then she gets up on the boat in bits that make me even more angry, and whoever's driving the car drives off with the boat,
Yeah.
and they're on the back kissing, and it drives off very slowly with the mast still up and the sails out,
Yeah.
and they just keep driving it about 0.2 miles an hour.
Yeah.
While the credits are rolling, still kissing.
He looked bloody awful, that coat, didn't he? And that tie, didn't he? Let's be honest. That was, oh, God, that was so the fashion then as well. That was like peak fashion. And there it is, 1984's Romancing the Stone. So we get to the point of this episode, as we always do. How did you feel about it, Tom? Dare I ask?
Well, I was excited by the prospect of watching the film that I'd not actually seen before. And it was amazing how quickly that feeling of excitement was ripped from me and killed and burnt. Find very little I enjoyed about this film. Again, the treasure was boring. It was cheap. It wasn't even a central part of the... It was just like an off plot.
It was like a side quest, wasn't it?
Side quest on a mess of a film. Again, it's the fact that her sister was kidnapped, we don't really care. Her husband has been chopped in little pieces, we care even less. Like, what's going on here?
It's quite dated and quite terrible.
It's not a good film.
It's a shame because when we mentioned before about the young lady who wrote the script to it and was giving quite money, I'd be very interested to see what that script was, whether the script was more about the treasure hunt and more about the actual getting the jewel, and maybe there was a more of an Indiana Jones type of element to it with lots of little clues and cryptic and clever things that they had to overcome. And this thing, I think even in 1984, when people say, oh, yes, Ross, but it's a product of its time, I don't think this is even a product of its time in 1984, based upon what films we were getting. I think
When you compare,
I think it was more of a product of the 70s, never mind
yes,
anything else, because we come back to little moments in time in history, don't we, where we go, well, that was very inappropriate, or this doesn't sit very well, or you wouldn't do that again. All these sayings are coming back, aren't they? Because that's the whole point of our podcast, isn't it? It's to identify and look at this and go, why doesn't it work? Why is it the way it is? Why did we fall in love with it first to start with? And that's exactly why I picked this film, because I knew how this was going to result and it was going to end up. And I can see the flames coming out of your head. But not in a positive,
rage.
but not in flames of rage, coming out there. But
do you have, like, given all we've said about it,
Yeah.
how can I put this, strong opinions,
mm,
do you have any sort of favourite characters, favourite scenes in it?
again, because I feel quite cold this, I only really had Danny DeVito, and again, it was very much how I choose my favourite characters sometimes. Danny DeVito is a great actor, and you can see in that there was maybe some improvisation and how everything there is. The little bit at the beginning where he falls down the grate, he puts his foot, doesn't he, down in the grate, and accidentally falls into the grate, and then he carries on talking. Didn't you think it's all done in one shot? And that's a sign of a good actor.
I think it would have to be Kathleen Turner's Joan Wilder, because
Yeah.
despite all the criticisms I've given this film, which I could go on about, but we'd need a whole new podcast dedicated to me moaning about it, portrayed the character really well.
She's a good actor.
An enjoyable performance, in spite of a film I I'm not fond of. I did like her character throughout the film. She goes to being somebody who's really unprepared to getting a stronger character towards the end, fighting the bad guy, that sort of thing. If I'm gonna be really on it and say I do have a favourite scene, I like the scene where she feeds her cat, because I think the cat's quite cute.
Wow.
I just like that bit.
An entire film that has spent God knows how much money feeding a cat.
Yeah. I mean, as someone who lives with cats,
Right.
when she's there and she's putting the cat food out, she puts a little bit of the green stuff on top of it, and she's trying to make it look fancy. This is me who does the same thing with the cats here, trying to make their food look as nice as possible and give them a little treat.
Well, there you have
I
it,
like
listeners. That's where we've got to on this. Good Lord, what a come down.
Okay. So,
God, do you know what? I've had enough now. Let's get to. Can we just
the
get to
important bit, the official, as we're calling it,
Yeah.
the official Burning Cinemas flame rating. What is yours?
Well, it's one flame. A single flame.
I'm gonna be fair because I'm a fair person,
Ooh.
and I'm gonna give it one flame,
Right.
brought up because of the stunt work.
And I think
That is the thing. That is the saving. That has stopped it from having a kind of bash rating.
that was close, wasn't it?
And I know, like I said, it's going to be controversial. This is purely our opinion on
Yeah.
it. Everyone else can have theirs, and we're welcoming of that because I'm sure people would like
Yeah.
comment. Feel free to have that chat with us in comments and sort of say your opinions, because we're listening to everyone's opinions, because we disagree on things sometimes.
And what you got to remember, this is our feeling of how we feel now. It's not. Whilst it is a film review of the film, it's not to sit there. How can I put this in such a way that we say this is how good the film is, if that makes any sense.
No.
It's about this is how hot it is to us, and that's why we use the flame rating, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
it's telling everybody that actually it's only flickering. It's a one flame for us. It's just not there anymore. So the big question all the listeners are all asking now is that we come to the end, don't we, of X marks the plot. That's the end of this little season, isn't it? And normally we would introduce another season, wouldn't we? We would say what our theme is going, and we would go for another 4 films. But it's upon us, isn't it? It's not far away. The man in the red suit, it won't be long before he arrives, isn't it? Father Christmas himself. Yes, that's everybody. Christmas is on our doorstep, isn't it? With that, we and Tom have decided to give you guys a Christmas special we have. We're moving away from the rules slightly. So we've both come up in that, Tom. We've decided to come to an agreement, and we've both picked a film, and we've decided that we're going to unwrap an absolute timeless family delight.
Oh, there goes Mr. Humbug. There goes Mr. Grim.
Do you think it's safe for us to be up here?
If they gave a prize for being mean, the winner would be him.
Yes, Mr. Cratchit.
If you please, Mr. Scrooge, the bookkeeping staff would like to have an extra shovel full of coal for the fire.
Our assets are frozen.
How would the bookkeepers like to be suddenly
Unemployed!
The heat wave. Oi! This is my island in the sun. Oi, oi.
It's Charles Dickens' classic tale, as only the Muppets can tell it.
It's good to be heckling again. It's good to be doing anything again.
Filled with holiday warmth
Hey, like the lamp, not the rat, like the lamp, not the rat.
and Christmas spirit.
Jacob Marley?
That's right, everybody. We're going all out Muppets. That's it. Yeah. With the version of the Christmas Carol. And at Christmas time, what more do you want? I mean, it's going to be so Christmassy, isn't it? It's
It is going to be
unbelievable.
a very Christmas feeling.
It is.
Happy time of year.
Yeah, and you'll be able to listen to that on the 22nd of December. So we still, every other Monday, but keep the date in your diary. That'll be released on there on YouTube. It'll be on there. Please keep following us. You can catch up with all the old episodes. They're all on there now, aren't they? Please click a like. Please subscribe. All the stuff you normally do on YouTube and everything. And I think until Christmas arrives, that's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.